Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are back with a classic video. We are doing a how many shares, and today we're talking about realty income. Now, I did one of these videos on realty income when I first started the channel, like a little under a year ago, and it did pretty well. And it's honestly, the stock has been in good shape. It's in a little bit of a rough patch recently. I do own this stock, just so you guys know that it's out there. But we're going to go ahead and jump in. Currently yielding about a 6% dividend yield, but look at this 6-month trend, really beaten down. Now, down 20% isn't that radical for some stocks, especially with this kind of how the market's been going. But for realty income, that's quite a dip. We can see even from highs of near $70, they're down about 25%. So they've taken some rough patches, the pandemic, the last crash, I guess you could call it, or downtrend. Overall, they're up 510% all time. Now, I think the last time I did this video, they were up over 600% all time. So it has come down quite a bit, which increases that dividend yield and gives everybody a good buying opportunity. Now, the reason I'm talking about realty income again is because I'm putting in my full amount into my Roth IRA, which is about $6,500. I'm going to be splitting that up and putting it into a couple different stocks. So I'm looking into some new options or for reinvesting into some options I already have. So we're going to talk about realty income. There's a lot that goes into this company. It's important to note this is a REIT, real estate investment trust. So they make their money owning properties, leasing those properties to tenants in the basic of terms. And we'll go into what they're invested in. But first, let's take a look at their dividend history, something that's super, super important in a stock, especially a dividend stock where you're getting a lot of money every month from this one. This is a monthly payer, which is good to know. And so the dividends go way back. Let's see. They go all the way back to 1994, which would make this a dividend aristocrat. Not a dividend king yet, but well on their way. And we can see they've had some nice jumps in that monthly dividend amount. Now, if I had to go all in on one REIT, I would definitely pick Realty Income. It is a phenomenal stock. It's not financial advice. It's just everything that goes into this stock. They're basically the LeBron James of REITs, right? A lot of people consider them to be the GOAT, greatest of all time. And the track record is pretty decent. So let's see. We don't have their grades up here, but overall, you just see this increase in time. It's pretty phenomenal, and it really helps get that money into your pockets. Looking at their last dividend, so they're not going to be increasing it by a ton every month. It's going to be pretty small. But the real important thing with this, when we talk about like dividend aristocrats and dividend kings, is the year-over-year increase. So it's not, I believe it's not quarter to quarter or month to month like it would be in this case. As long their dividend is considered growing if it has a higher dividend yield this year than it did the prior year. So that's why sometimes you see a stock, maybe it pays out 4 times a year. The first month is really low, and then they make up for it in the next months, and it still maintains its title of dividend aristocrat or dividend king, is because it's year over year is how they calculate that. I believe I should double check that, but I'm like 95% positive. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. So let's look at their dividend score. I thought I had premium, to be honest. Payout ratio 75%. Good, really good actually. When you get into risky territory with payout ratios, when you hit like 80% and above, payout ratio, for those that don't know, is how much of their profits they are paying out. So sometimes companies will be paying out more than they actually are making, and that's when you get into dividend trouble, and often that leads to a dividend cut. 5-year growth rate of 3.7%. Not an insane growth rate, but definitely not bad. Especially, it's a pretty good growth rate when you're considering the yield is about 6% right now. Last dividend was 26 cents. You can't complain about that. We know their yield. Let's see. Forward dividend yield, 6%. I want to see what their SEC dividend yield 30-day is, but they don't have that on here. All right, let's check. So yeah, the dividends remained pretty consistent in 2019 when everything boomed. The yield dropped a little bit. With the max yield, still the highest max yield, 6.4%. So we're almost to that max yield. We're only about 0.4% off. Yeah, cash payout ratio 70. Grade C. Seeking alpha is great. Now let's do their drip calculator. I love doing this. I really recommend doing this, guys, for any stock that you are really interested in. We're going to compare it to, what should we compare it to? Let's compare it to the S&P 500. Let's see if SPY works. So what this is going to do is it's going to go the start date 1995. So it was actually a little bit before that, but let's check the chart. Okay, so what we're looking at is the difference between O and SPY. Now, both phenomenal. So if you started with an investment of $10,000 28 years ago, yeah, 95, that $10,000 investment initially in 1995 for realty income with dividends reinvested, really important to note, that would be $263,000. That is insane. Now, I know that sounds like an insane amount of money, and it is, but you have to think back then $10,000 was worth a lot more than it is now. But compared to SPY, you're only looking at $125,000 now. With the average total return 12% versus 9%. Still, 9% is insane for SPY. I did not know it was that good. Dividends reinvested per share $50 and $85. So that's the price per share that they reinvested them in. So really, the income is sitting a little bit around there. Pretty phenomenal. Now, going back and looking at the start date in 1995, without dividends reinvested, SPY actually still loses. Really, income still wins just on price appreciation alone, which is pretty insane, even with their recent fall in price. But this goes to show you would have an extra $165,000, $168,000 from just reinvesting your dividends. Reinvest dividends, guys. People say dividends are a sham, that you shouldn't focus on them, that if you're young, take higher risks. I mean, in 25 years, if I could turn 10K into $250,000, I'm happy with that. Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Pretty good. Let's look at their portfolio. Always important to look at the websites of these companies, guys. Realty Income does a phenomenal job. Let's look at their top industries. Super important. Super important, guys. Listen, over here. So when we're looking at these kind of things, you have to think about all factors in the market. You have to think of things, unfortunately, like war, like pandemics, like recessions. Think with your whole brain. Use 100% of your brain at the same time. I don't know if that's possible. And focus in on what exactly you think would do the best. Are movie theaters going to survive in a pandemic? If the U.S. goes to war, are they going to survive? I mean, if we go to war, the stocks are going to take a hit either way, but still. Movie theaters are going to be on probably the bottom of the list of things that you should be invested in if we do go to war or if there's another pandemic, as we saw. Of course, the whole AMC thing, I don't want to talk about it. So let's see what they're looking at. So they have general stores, grocery stores, two things that are, or convenience stores. Why did I say general stores? That was weird. Convenience stores, grocery stores, two huge ones. You're not going to lose, you may lose some, but you're not going to lose a lot of those with crazy recessions and stuff like that. Everyone still needs groceries. Dollar stores, those are coming up everywhere. Home improvement, boom during the pandemic. Drug stores are always going to do well. People love drugs. I don't think I can say that. I might get a strike or whatever, but anyway. Restaurants, quick service, and restaurants, casual dining. Not my favorite of these categories, but they're pretty low percent, only 9% total of their portfolio. Health and fitness, automotive, general merchandise. A good spread overall. We can see, look at the beautiful spread this is. They do have AMC. That's hilarious. Nothing over 4% of their top 20 clients. Beautiful. They don't have 30% in Dollar General. So if Dollar General goes under, you lose 30% of your value. Stuff like that. Pharmacies, Walmart's, Tractor Supply, Lowe's, LA Fitness, diversification, their property type diversification, top 7 regions, United Kingdom, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, Massachusetts, Ohio. Very interesting there. A lot of retail, 83% in retail, which is important to think about. That could take a hit with certain things, but like we looked at, it's diversified really well between all these different subclasses. So nothing that I would be worried about. They even have some gaming stuff and some industrial. Okay. Basic math here. What do they call it? Like how a monkey would explain things, or how you'd explain, I don't remember. That one guy on TikTok, the monkey guy. Anyway, yeah, that's what it was with the bananas. He explains everything in economically with bananas and how monkeys would trade bananas. Anyway, moving on. With their occupancy rate, this is one of the most important things about a REIT. If you have a 70% occupancy rate, 30% of their properties are not full with tenants, which is really scary because they're still making those payments. They don't own all these properties outright. Maybe they do in some cases. You have to take a really deep look into the portfolio, but either way, whether they own it or not, you're losing money when it's not full. So Realty Income has maintained strong year-end portfolio occupancy, which has never been below 96%, which is insane. They own so many properties, and yet they're always at least 96% full. Really important to note, and that is super important. Let's see. When was the pandemic? 2020? When did I graduate? 2021? They've just been killing the game since. Diversification, honestly, it's not diverse with different countries, but you're in two very wealthy countries. You have the US, the UK. So pretty wealthy. Now what we're going to look at besides their portfolio is for their properties and clients. So one thing that pulled the price back with this one, which happened a little bit ago, which let's look back the last year, this deal went through where they purchased a casino, which is their first casino. It's a Wynn Encore Boston Harbor Resort and Casino for $1.7 billion at a 6% cash cap rate, which is not the best cap rate, but you do with what you can. And so a lot of people didn't like this, and that's partially what led to the beginning pullback in the price of the stock, because gambling is a very different beast, so to say. One thing I love about this when I was reading this prepping for the video is Massachusetts legalized sports betting January 31 of 2023, and Encore Boston Harbor launched in-person sports betting. Now, I don't sports bet. I love sports. I don't bet much. People love it. They go crazy. We've seen issues with people on Twitch betting, gambling, all that kind of stuff. People love it. So it's insane to me that this isn't like a crazy thing all over the place. It's kind of just becoming a reality. Like it said, it was only legalized January of this year. So I think this could be a huge area for them to get some extra revenue when it comes to casinos. Now, this is a really small portion of realty income, so I don't think that would really affect realty income that much. But when you look at like Penn Gaming, that's sports betting, and the other huge one that I can't remember that's like orange, DraftKings, huge market, crazy. People want in. Also, this is a beautiful property. You can read the details. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but we don't really need to look into every single detail. Okay, there we go. Grocery industry. Why did that? Maybe I moved it. Square foot industrial assets, just gas stations, dude, they're everywhere. Chipotle. I didn't know that. But these are also really good tenants. Chipotle's not going to want to move if they don't have to. Grocery stores do not want to move if they don't have to. So there's a lot that really goes into this. And I'm going to pull up. We'll just pull up their stock one last time. Look at the max. Can you really go wrong with the stock with a chart as beautiful as this? So we're sitting at $50, which is low for how it has been the last 5 years. Is this the lowest it's been besides, the pandemic drop, and it's still above what it was before the last drop. So realty income is one of my favorites. They have proven over and over again their ability to produce, their ability to be consistent. And even though the price is falling now, and we may see it fall another 20%, I'm not even going to lie to you. Who knows what the market's going to do? But these dividend income stocks are just phenomenal. You get paid monthly. I own a lot of realty. This is not financial advice. It is just one of my favorite companies. It's one of the most secure companies, at least that I own. And I really like it. So, of course, I'm going to be shouting it out extra, but I didn't even do the calculation. How many shares do you need? So let's pull this up. I'm just going to pull up a calculator. So you have 500. You want to make $500 a month, which for me is my car payment. It's almost paid off, but we got $500 a month. So you're at a 6% dividend yield. So in order to do that, I forget how I haven't done one of these videos in forever. So in order to do that, let's say you have $50,000 and you're getting 0.06% of that would be $3,000 a year. Beautiful math, because it's 6%. That's why. So I can tell you what it's going to be right now. What we need is you need $500 a month, which comes out to being $6,000 a year. So we're going to be at $100,000 invested. So if you have $100,000, and we're going to multiply that by 0.06, which is the total, which is the current dividend yield, actually 0.0603. You're going to end up with $6,030 every single year. Divide that by, divided by 12, $502.05 a month. Now, remember, you're going to be taxed on this pretty heavy, but it's money you're getting from the dividends. You can put it into a Roth and not collect or not collect for a long time and then not pay taxes at the end. You can pay taxes earlier on. Depends on how you want to do it. I'm not a tax expert, so that's not tax advice. But it's really crazy that you'd only need $100,000 to make $500 a month from this stock. And it's a pretty safe stock. People don't talk about this one enough, in my opinion. I feel like everyone brushes it under the rug because it's so popular. So $500 a month. So how many shares exactly would we need? So if we had to invest $100,000 divided by the current price of $50.97, you would need 1,962 shares on this to be safe. 1,900, you could just round up to 2,000. 1,962 shares owned to make $500 a month on this stock. So it's a lot of money. I'm not saying $100,000 is not a lot of money. That's a ton of money. But if you think about that opportunity that money gives you, it's a beautiful thing. So as always, I appreciate you guys. We're slowly growing the channel. I've been gone for a long time, so I'm so sorry about that. I've been just slacking. I'm going to go back to my 2 videos a week. I'm putting out some new different kind of shorts content that's just educational, and it's really interesting. I've been learning a lot through that as well. So I'm going to keep doing that. I hope you guys enjoyed those. If you do, like, and if you guys want the notification on, click that, the bell, and then you'll see exactly when I put out a video, even if it is sporadic. That'll give you a notification. So I appreciate you guys being here, spending this time with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video for sure. Let me know in the comments down below if you think there's ways that I can improve. Slowly just building a community of people that like to invest, that are normal, like-minded people, not these crazy influencers that make tons of money off all this crap. So as always, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.